So in this session, we're going to talk about how to make sure that your website comes up in the Google Maps or Google Places. So you might have seen recently, probably over the last maybe 6 to 12 months, actually probably even a little bit longer than that now, you're starting to see the organic listings start to change, where Google started to do a thing they called universal search, where they started to pull in, they tried images, that didn't quite hang around, but they also pulled in videos as well. You're starting to see videos appear in the search, and they also pulled in maps now as well. So when you do a search, and typically they're tailoring it to more geographic related searches. So if you're looking for dentist Melbourne, I'm just going to keep using that example. Let's say you're using for that. The way that they figure is what's going to be more relevant to you. Is it going to be a dentist that's located in Sydney, or is it going to be a dentist that's located in Melbourne? Well, you just search for a Melbourne term, so obviously, geographically speaking, that's going to be more relevant. And then they also started to take in other bits of information. There's a thing called an IP address, which is assigned to you when you're on the internet, and it gives an indication as to where you are. So that IP address, it's almost like a locator, so they know roughly geographically where you are. So with that in mind, they can start to tailor the search results to your location. So that way they'll start to serve more relevant information to you. So if you're looking for a pizza shop for dinner tonight, and they could locate where you are, it's going to be much more relevant to find you the pizza shop that's closest to you. And that's why they started to put in Google Places and things like that. And you'll see now, when you search for terms, you'll see maps, and it's starting to embed into the search engines. So there's like a good example here, and that's like our client for the Printing Melbourne, and it is changing somewhat. They keep on mixing it up. They're obviously still testing it. Google are avid testers. You can see there on the right hand side they've got a map. Sometimes that map is embedded into the actual content. There is no real set way that they're doing it. It's bouncing around all the time. Sometimes you'll find the Google Places listings, and the way that you can tell that it's a Google Places listing as opposed to just a normal listing is you can see the little A and the little B, that little pin just underneath the search result. That shows you that it's a Google Places listing. Sometimes it's more obvious than other times as to whether or not it's Google Places. Now, when this happened, a lot of people, this is what I was saying as far as the search engine optimization community, they're all like, this is the end of the world, just like they're doing with the Panda update, because what we're seeing now is it's pushing down all of the organic results. So you might have spent a whole bunch of time trying to get your keywords ranking number one organically and coming up the top, and then they've just introduced Google Places, and now they've just pushed everything down below the fold. So you need to scroll halfway down the page. And if you remember on that video that we watched at the start, Google versus Yellow Pages, we were kind of like, so how do you know which one to click on? Usually I click on one and the third. Why do you click on one and the third? And she's like, I don't know, I just do. But the moral of the story being, they don't scroll very far down the page. This is changing the way that things are working, particularly for geographic terms. So it's important that you get this right, and it's really quite simple. A lot of people just don't do it, and you kind of just need to jump in there and do it. It won't take you long. I'll show you the way that it's done, and I'll show you my listing as well. I've logged into my account to give you a little bit of an idea as to what it looks like behind the scenes.